Good evening. It is the 10th of February 2025, the second Monday of the month of February. I trust you've had yourself a wonderful day. Welcome to the Daily Report with me, George Maringa, and on sign language interpretation is Rhoda Nyamai. Tonight, we have a conversation about Kenya and the diplomatic space. And who else to have that conversation with other than the Principal Secretary for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Abraham Korir Sing'oei. He's a guest tonight right here on TV47 Power and Politics a little bit later on, where we shall be looking at a myriad of activities, especially that have been making headlines and that Kenya is also involved in. Fresh from the EACC SADC Summit, we will be seeking his reflections from that, as well as much more that you have seen regarding Kenya's space and place in the diplomatic sector. What are your questions for him? Please go ahead and start engaging us at TV47 News KE. You can post to me directly at George Maringa _ or to his handle at Sing'oei A Korir. Please use the hashtag Daily Report, hashtag Power and Politics. A lot is making the headlines tonight, but before that important conversation with PS Dr. Korir Sing'oei, here is a glimpse of what is making headlines in the news tonight. Tonight, the CEO of the State Health Authority, SHA, has defended the organization against criticism over inefficiencies and gaps in the rollout of the new health system. Despite public frustration, the CEO vowed that improvements are underway. The Law Society of Kenya, LSK, has condemned the High Court's decision in Nakuru to close Brian Odhiambo's case, raising concerns over its implications for justice.
The judiciary should know that they are really the last line of defense. When Kenyans wake up, they desire and hope that they will be getting justice in our courts.
Plus, a group of President William Ruto's allies faced a fiery backlash at a funeral in Laikipia on Monday as locals expressed strong opposition to the Kenya Kwanza administration. The tense confrontation highlighted growing public discontent.
Na hao watu usiwachukue hivi. Ukiwatukana tena watakutukana. Na mutakosania heshima na hawa. Kati huo.
We thank you for choosing TV47 to inform you tonight. I am George Maringa. Once again, on sign language interpretation is Rhoda Nyamai. Just to remind you tonight, we have a conversation with none other than PS Abraham Korir Sing'oei, Dr. Abraham Korir Sing'oei, on matters Kenya and the diplomatic space, as well as what exactly lies ahead in this year. Remember, we have the new foreign policy as well as much more. Please do stand by for that, as well as send in your questions to our SMS line to 2047. Start with your name, where you're watching us from, followed by your question, comment, or feedback regarding the program tonight. But before that interview, let's get you informed, where former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has called on President William Ruto to cease using vulgar language when addressing Kenyans, warning that such rhetoric could tarnish both his image and the presidency itself. The call comes after a tense altercation involving leaders from both Gachagua's and Ruto's factions, with mourners and guests witnessing a fiery exchange. The confrontation saw those responsible for Gachagua's removal as deputy president openly criticized. Mike Kagongo has more on this developing story.
A group of President William Ruto's allies from the Mount Kenya region found themselves at the center of a tense confrontation on Monday, as residents of Laikipia expressed strong opposition to the Kenya Kwanza administration. Laikipia North Member of Parliament Sarah Korere and her Laikipia East counterpart Mwangi Kionjore faced a storm of heckling during a funeral service for the late Mzee William Derito Nkatia, father of Laikipia Senator John Kenywa in Maringa village, Salamawan.
Nashukuru Mungu kwa sababu sikuzama na serikali yenu yenye mulitengeneza wenyewe na kubaliana na Keonjori, tutakaa ndani ya hiyo serikali.
Korere, in her attempt to defend her decision to back the Kenya Kwanza government, was met with a barrage of jeers from mourners even before she could fully speak. Her efforts to criticize local leaders speaking in the local dialect only fueled the tension further.
Hapa ni Maringa, hapa ni Laikipia, hapa sio Nyeri. Sisi wote hatujui Kikuyu. Kwendeni huko.
Kinjuri too had a tough time defending his support for Kenya Kwanza government, emphasizing that he stood by its mandate to deliver on pre-election promises. His comments were met with a less than welcoming reception from the crowd.
Ni lazima tupate maji, tupate stima, tupate barabara, watu wetu waache kupigwa na wakora, hiyo yote ni lazima.
Bishop, on behalf of the political class, please accept our apology as political leaders for the disrespect that has been shown to you and the Reverend Fathers and the altar by that member of parliament who is an ally of President William Ruto.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has warned President William Ruto to curb his use of foul language when addressing Kenyans, suggesting it could lead to a public disdain for both him and the government.
I appreciate that you have messed the economy and you are stuck, but that does not allow you to demean that office by abusing the people of Kenya who elected you.
Gachagua accused Ruto of undermining the presidency by engaging in divisive rhetoric, a sentiment he believes is echoed by leaders close to the president.
Let us stop the culture of lies. Number one. Number two, maaskofu pia wamesema ni makosa kushika vijana, abductions.
Hii maneno ya abductions and killings of our children at such a time as this, it is wrong before men, it is wrong before God.
Your Excellency, it cannot be that the only thing that you care about is your re-election in 2027. That you are ready to expose Kenya even to danger from Al-Shabaab and other people. And we have nothing against the members of the Somali community.
You are profiling communities. The people of Mount Kenya region, you call them tribalists. The people of Kambani, you demean them, call them Dego farmers. The people of Isiolo, you call them drug peddlers. Mr. President, be careful, because I have listened to the ground and I want to advise you today, stop abusing the people of Kenya.
During the ceremony, the Nakuru Catholic bishop who presided over the service urged political leaders to be truthful and champion the interests of the people without bias or favorism, calling for unity and integrity in their leadership. Mike Kagwango, TV47.
Thank you, Mike, for that. The Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, has been granted a further 14 days to detain 3 KFS rangers who are alleged to have shot a border rider, 26-year-old Augustine Rotich, transporting 15 cedar posts on his motorcycle inside Narasha Forest, leading to his death. This report was produced by our own Willie Dennis Njiro.
Richard Banotti, the investigating officer who presented the trio rangers before Elder Maravin, Senior Principal Magistrate Richard Koech under miscellaneous application, requested the court for 2 weeks to conclude the investigations. He indicated that the victim, who was shot on February 5th this year, sustained a gunshot wound to his leg, suffered internal bleeding in the head and died a day later at Nakuru Level 5 Hospital.
This person was found to have been beaten seriously. He had bleeding from the head, and also there was a gunshot wound in one of the legs.
The IO further revealed his belief that Ranger Robert Ngilimo used his G3 rifle to shoot Rotich, even though the witnesses were yet to record statements and ballistic scrutiny to the rifle has not been used.
We have to forward maybe the firearms for ballistic examinations and also record statements from witnesses.
The magistrate noted that the trio, Ranger Robert Ngilimo, Hilary Bett and MacDonald Wafula, were a flight risk and therefore complied to the request of the 14 days custodial application by the DCI.
In the event he had survived, we were going to charge them with grievous harm. They were going to be charged with grievous harm. Now that the person passed on, then we are investigating a murder case.
The case will be mentioned on February 24th this year. For TV47, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Now, the Law Society of Kenya, LSK, has condemned the High Court's decision to close Brian Odhiambo's case in Nakuru. Speaking in Nakuru, led by Rift Valley LSK Chair Aston Muchala, the group accused the judiciary of taking the matter lightly. They criticized Justice Julius Nangea for failing to consider evidence from 6 witnesses who allegedly saw KWS officers arrest Odhiambo.
And even at the cross-examination of the KWS and the DCI, we recognized that that was not captured in the ruling. The KWS recognized that they were with Brian, but that has not been addressed. So that is one of the issues that brings us together as a society, that we are fighting for Brian.
It is high time the judiciary woke up and know that it is Brian today, but it is their kin tomorrow.
The judiciary should know that they are really the last line of defense. When Kenyans wake up, they desire and hope that they will be getting justice in our courts. Now, a family does not know the whereabouts of their loved one. Someone has disappeared. The judge who handled that case rightfully questioned in the judgment that how can someone, it's mind-boggling that someone can just disappear from the national park at Nakuru and he cannot be traced. Yet the same judge goes ahead and say, there being no evidence that this person is being held by the authorities, then he will leave the matter to rest. Where else does he expect this family to get justice?
Even when the judge says let the prosecution process continue, for a fact no one is being prosecuted anywhere. Insofar as we know, of the information I have, no one has taken plea anywhere, okay? And no decision to charge anyone has been made.
Now, President William Ruto has reiterated Kenya's dedication to fostering peace with a particular focus on the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, and Haiti. He also called for urgent reforms in the United Nations to improve Africa's representation on the world stage. Speaking at State House Nairobi, Ruto announced that Kenya and its regional partners have agreed to combine the Nairobi and Luanda peace processes, aiming to streamline negotiations and strengthen conflict resolution efforts.
Speaking at State House Nairobi while hosting heads of diplomatic missions and international organizations, President Ruto emphasized the need for constructive dialogue to resolve the ongoing crisis in eastern DRC.
All the parties in the DRC conflict to prioritize negotiations, dialogue, and commit to all of us working towards achieving lasting peace.
He reiterated that Kenya, in collaboration with the regional partners, has decided to integrate the Nairobi and Luanda peace processes to foster a more coordinated and effective mediation approach in resolving conflicts.
We need to merge the Nairobi and Luanda processes because having two concurrent processes running parallel creates unnecessary competition, creates avenues for forum shopping, and many other things that undermine the ultimate goal of these processes. So we agreed that these processes should be merged into one.
Ruto also underscored Kenya's dedication to strengthening both bilateral and multilateral ties, advocating for regional integration, economic diplomacy, and global peace initiatives.
Since independence, we have expanded our diplomatic footprint from 6 missions to now 70 stations across the world. We continue to prioritize regional integration, intra-African ties, economic diplomacy, and global peace and security.
Additionally, he called for UN reforms to boost Africa's representation in global decision-making, while diplomatic partners welcomed Kenya's vision, pledging continued collaboration on security, trade, and humanitarian efforts.
Kenya strongly supports UN reform, particularly greater representation for Africa. With 54 member states, 28% of the UN's membership, Africa must have a stronger voice to uphold fairness and equality in global decision-making.
After Finland, we have the Norwegian.
Violet Auma, TV47.
Thank you, Violet. Barely 2 weeks after the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC ranked the National Police Service NPS among the most corrupt institutions, the Commission has initiated a thorough examination of the police's systems, policies and practices in an effort to curb corruption. Speaking at the launch, EACC Chairperson Bishop David Oginda explained that the objective of the audit is to identify and rectify systemic weaknesses and loopholes that foster corruption within Kenya's police operations. Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja emphasized the police service's commitment to fully cooperating with the investigation, ensuring a conducive environment for the audit process. At the conclusion of the examination, the Commission will prepare a report with its findings and recommendations, which will be submitted to the Inspector General of Police for implementation.
Executive Director Baringo, next to Commissioner.
I believe that we are going to tackle these things, and Kenyans are going to be surprised how corruption is going to die in this country. So as EACC, I do not want to say much more, but just know that we are with you. We want to make you succeed. Be the first IG to tackle this matter decisively, and you will go into the annals of history as a man who transformed this country.
The Constitution expects all of us as public officers to uphold accountability and transparency, not only the police, but even EACC and any other public agency.
We want to automate the services that are offered by the police. We want to digitize the occurrence book. We want to digitize the traffic fines and many other services that are offered by the police, such that the people of Kenya can actually be able to carry out those services, else we are not necessarily in the police station. You can be able to launch your complaint in the comfort of your home. That is the state that we want. And that's the reason why I'm happy that we are going to be joined by other supporters, other good people, the UNODC, the European Union, and many others out there to support us.
Our common denominator in this Kenya, for all of us, both the EACC, both the police, the president, the governors, and everybody, is the Mwananchi. Mwananchi is where our meeting point is. We have to strive to ensure that the Mwananchi is well served in a professional and a better way. And in those regard, that's where now we have to work professionally as police officers, professionally.
Now, the Departmental Committee on Health in the National Assembly today confronted representatives from the Social Health Authority SHA Board, seeking answers on the ongoing delays and gaps in the implementation of the Social Health Insurance Fund. Since the fund's rollout, Kenyans have raised numerous concerns, including system glitches, service disruptions, and dissatisfaction with reduced benefits compared to the now defunct NHIF. SHA's response will be closely scrutinized as the committee aims to set the record straight on these issues.
Since its rollout in October last year, the Social Health Insurance Fund has faced seemingly endless criticism from a wide range of sources. Worryingly, many Kenyans remain unaware of the benefits, registration process, and even the payment requirements of the new system.
That has been gazetted must be disseminated to the public.
So far, about 18 million Kenyans are registered under SHIF. However, only 4 million actively contribute to it. This low contribution rate is said to have posed a challenge for the government in identifying indigent populations in need of government subsidies.
These funds are receiving money from the government. Let everybody access that, even if you are not paid up under the Social Health Care Fund.
Persons contribute according to their ability to pay and receive similar benefits and tariffs. This is largely due to SHA's potential for larger pool resources and risks, enabling broader coverage and enhanced access to healthcare services.
NHIF-owned healthcare providers are owed approximately 30.9 billion Kenyan shillings, while an additional 25 billion Kenyan shillings in outstanding premiums from government-funded schemes remains uncollected.
To service providers, I'm getting confused about that, because some you said you are looking at money that should have come to you and have not come. But we're also saying now you have offered service. So who owes who what?
Out of the 25.5 billion that NHIF is saying it's owed, the amount owed by the Ministry of Health, which is responsible for providing health services, is only 8.4. 17.1 is owed by other departments, which you agreed to provide services on their behalf, and they are not paying you. And therefore, you are making facilities suffer because you decided to be a benevolent fund.
System issues in the SHA digital platform has also been a thorn in the flesh for many patients, with several cases of downtime issues at major facilities. Currently, the system availability stands at 98.2%. Sheila Chelanget for TV47.
Thank you, Sheila. The Association of Public Health Officers is upset at the recent report given by the Presidential Task Force on Human Resources for Health, with the association terming the report as biased. The association also believed that as an interested party, the Director General of Health, Patrick Amoth, should not be included in the task force. Our reporter Anastasia Mukabi with more details on this clash.
The Presidential Task Force on Human Resources for Health released a report on 4th February 2025, a report that has ruffled feathers of the Association of Public Health Officers, who accused the task force of undermining the Department of Public Health.
The report that came out did not capture what actually is happening and is ailing the Ministry of Health. We are also asking that the DG should respect the two arms of service delivery at the Ministry of Health. We have the curative arm and we have the public health arm. Alleviating or alienating or relieving one from their duty and taking it upon yourself as one cadre to be the one who is giving the report is wrong.
According to the public health offices, the Director General of Health, Patrick Amoth, was the technical advisor for the task force, and his presence casts doubt on the credibility of the findings. They also claimed that the report was full of personal interests.
The General, as interested party, should not be a member of the task force because he's in position to manipulate the findings. He should have just given submission like any other stakeholders.
They further confirmed that the alleged conflicts between the two health principal secretaries were baseless rumors, further calling on President Ruto to intervene and restore fairness, inclusivity, and accountability.
This report should be quashed and let the actual things that are ailing the ministry come out.
It's our prayer that the court, a decision is maintained and a new task force which is all inclusive, informed.
The Presidential Task Force was tasked with identifying and recommending reforms in the legal, policy, administrative, institutional, and operational aspects of human resources for health in Kenya. On 6th February this year, the High Court ruled this task force unconstitutional and illegal. Anastasia Mkabi, TV47.
4 young men have been shot and injured by police in Barwesa Ward, Baringo County, following a confrontation with suspected livestock thieves. Local residents claim that the police have been colluding with criminals, alleging that whenever suspects are arrested, they are swiftly released without facing charges. Andrin Kilemi reports.
Tension remains high in Barwesa, Baringo County after police shot and injured 4 young men in a violent confrontation last night after they pounced on suspected cattle thieves accused of slaughtering stolen livestock and selling the meat in local butcheries.
Mbuzi yako ikiibiwa leo, wanaenda chinja mtoni, wanatupa kichwa, matumbo na wanaleta nyama kwa butchery.
Sasa saa hii ninashangaa sana maisha yangu itaendelea namna gani juu mimi ni mtu nategemewa, niko na familia.
Following the shooting, angry residents barricaded the Kabarnet-Barwesa road, burning tires and demanding justice for the victims, as businesses remained closed for the better part of Monday.
Tunashika wezi tunapeleka station. Hakuna siku askari ambaye kuja kushika mwizi. Sisi wenyewe tunatafuta, tunashika. Alafu wanashirikiana wezi, ni kama wanalipwa.
Tumeweza kufunga butcheries zote ili tufanye vetting in a week, tuone kwamba wale ambayo wanauza mifugo katika hizi butcheries wanauza mifugo ambayo ni halali.
So far, 2 police officers have been arrested while all other officers at the station have been transferred. The injured victims are currently receiving treatment at Baringo County Referral Hospital. Andrin Kilemi, TV47.
We are taking a short commercial break. When we come back, we've still got more on the other side. Please do stay with us.
Are you ready to elevate your business game?
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
Kama wewe ni mfanyabiashara, huwezi kaa bure, unajipanga taratibu vile inavyofaa.
Join us each week as we dive into the stories of the world's most driven entrepreneurs.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
The Grind, where business meets brilliance. Tune in every Monday at 7:30 p.m. because your business deserves the best.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2. What position were you? Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers.
We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora.
Welcome back. Let's get you informed. Kenya has made significant strides in enhancing the manufacture of motorcycle parts locally, as the aim now shifts from the 14 parts currently being produced in the country to a target of 35 parts in the next year. For context, a motorcycle needs about 299 parts. Speaking during his first visit to Kenya, Honda's Global Vice President Masanori Shimazoe, when he toured Honda Kenya manufacturing plant in Nairobi's industrial area, Shimazoe said the local manufacturing industry has the potential of growing the boda sector, as it emerges that one motorcycle has the potential of feeding about 6 people. Honda Kenya chairman Dr. Isaac Kalua Green noting the significant strides Kenya has made in driving the sustainability agenda by creating employment for thousands of Kenyans through the assembly factories, as well as jobs created for the boda operators across the country. Honda is keenly looking for, to expand its foothold of Africa as the global space, where he notes Honda seeks to reach the 50% mark of the market share from its current 40%.
So we are planning to increase sales volume of actual engine motorcycle. So also we start to sell, of course, electric motorcycle. That's why. So we need to increase both business now to expand our motorcycle market globally. Also, we try to increase our share. Now, so we have a 40% share of global market, but our target is 50% of the market.
I believe that as a country, we do have challenges. And just as the government has a role to play, the private sector has a big one, to be very practical, to offer jobs, to offer solutions that can be able to be felt. We have so far produced 750 motorcycles as at today. 750. We believe, based on the research that was done by Motorcycle Assemblers Association, that each motorcycle supports the livelihoods of 6 people at least in our country. The motorcycles that you see on the roads, mainly we imagine is just bodas, but they are supporting the agricultural sector in a very big way. And therefore, we can very authoritatively say that we have impacted on the lives of about 950,000 Kenyans.
Sports news brought to you by Maybets. Join Maybets leo upate free bet papo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1 au draw X au away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako. Chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybets. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutakuwa verified, utapoteza free bet yako after 2 days. Betting is strictly for 18 years and over. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. BCLB number 0000578.
Maybet na minia na najishindia. Pesa inavutia, pesa inavutia.
Let's get sporty. The Harambee Starlets have reported to camp ahead of their crucial back-to-back Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Tunisia. Under coach Beldine Odemba, the team will kick off the campaign with the first leg at home on February 21st before traveling to Tunis for the return leg on Tuesday, February 25th. Should they advance, Kenya will face the winner of the Niger versus Gambia match, bringing them a step closer to securing a spot in the tournament. The Starlets aim for a long-awaited return to the competition with their last appearance in 2016. However, the venue for the home leg remains unclear as both Kasarani and Nyayo stadiums are undergoing renovations ahead of the African Nations Championships in August.
Is in camp. You already have 21 players. I'm expecting 26 players by tomorrow or by the next session. But I'm glad that 21 have made it. 5 are still on their way coming. And tomorrow we shall have 26. The remaining 10 will come after the FIFA window is open. I've said it time and again that we are building a conveyor belt for players. So every time we incorporate new and young players to come into the camp and start trying out and start getting ready for the next assignments.
National Under-17 girls soccer head coach Mildred Chacha has named a 51-player provisional squad for the Junior Starlets ahead of their crucial 2025 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifier against Uganda in March. The squad includes several players from last year's World Cup campaign, such as goalkeeper Velma Abwire, Halima Imbachi and Brenda Awor, with key players like Marion Serenge and prolific striker Lona Faith now part of the Under-20 national team. Cheche is tasked with rebuilding the team. The Junior Starlets will rely on fresh talent to navigate the qualifiers as they remain hopeful for another World Cup appearance. The 56th edition of the prestigious Magical Kenya Open will take place from February 20th to 23rd at the lush Muthaiga Golf Course in Nairobi. As a premier event on the DP World Tour, the tournament will bring together 144 elite golfers from around the globe, including 8 professionals and 2 amateur players representing Kenya. This year, the event receives a major boost from Absa Bank, which has injected 60 million Kenya shillings into the tournament. Of this, 40 million Kenya shillings will support the local organizing committee, Kenya Open Golf Limited, while the remaining funds will enhance promotional efforts and offer exclusive experiences for fans and stakeholders, ensuring a world-class event. The tournament is expected to be streamed to over 560 million households worldwide.
So when we see corporates coming in to partner with us, we want to urge them also to see other sporting activities that have been prioritized in this country and for which we welcome you to participate.
For the MKO 2025 is
is a total sum of 60 million Kenya shillings, which will support, which includes a direct amount to KOGL of 40 million to support the logistics of the event, and another 20 million to support in various other ways, including communications, media, and publicity.
The cut will all receive money. The winner will receive somewhere, let's say about $350,000, $380,000, depending on the number that make the cut. And the person who is last in the cut, maybe the number 65 or number 70, will get about $10,000.
The 2024-2025 BingwaFest Coast Edition concluded on Sunday at the parked KPA Mbaraki Sports Club with Bandari Youth and KNCP Queens emerging as the football champions. Bandari secured a narrow 1-0 victory over Simba Apparel in the final, courtesy of a goal from Yusuf Ali. Meanwhile, KNCP Queens triumphed 1-0 against Changamwe's Destiny Ladies, with Phoebe Baraza's wonder strike securing the win. Both football champions were awarded 1 million Kenya shillings each. In rugby, Mombasa Sports Club claimed the men's title, while Hunters Hill women took the women's crown, each bagging 1 million Kenya shillings. Free Nation dominated KNCP in the men's 3x3 basketball final, while the Money team narrowly edged out the Unicorns 12-11 to win the women's title and pocket a 500,000 Kenya shillings cash prize.
Nobody has ever come up with this idea, and this is a good idea for coming up with sports. It takes off the youth for many stuff like drug dealing, crime rates reduced, since most youth will be focused on sports.
Lazima tutaendelea kufanya mazoezi kwa pamoja, tukifocus kwa league, bado pia tukifocus na hiyo national. Inshallah, God willing, Mungu akitujalia pia tutashinda.
And 500k manze ita change lives yetu juu sana. Most of us see my youth, manze.
We are very happy with the turnout, both by teams registering to participate, and also the fans have come out in large numbers to witness and support their teams. And we have also seen a lot of the people from the community coming to get health attention at the medical camp.
A new sport is sweeping across Kenya's fields. It is the sport of Kho Kho. Kho Kho is a traditional South Asian sport that dates back to ancient India, and it is the second most popular traditional tag name in the Indian subcontinent, after yet another newly popular game in Kenya, Kabaddi. Just 5 years since it was introduced in the country, our sports reporter Duncan Mutua has prepared the following report on how Kho Kho found its roots in the country, how it is played, and what stakeholders are doing to make it popular. Take a look.
Out, play on.
Kho Kho, a traditional South Asian sport that dates to the ancient India. It is the second most popular traditional tag game in India's subcontinent after Kabaddi, and it is among the newest sports in Kenya. Within the few years since the sport was introduced in the country, the national team has already left a mark in the international competition, like World Cup.
Since it was our first World Cup, we have never attended any major event like that one. So the experience was good. We learned a lot from the other nations that have been playing Kho Kho all through. The likes of India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So we got our experience and learned techniques and the way they are doing things over there.
It was nice. We had fun. We learned more skills. Yeah, we explored. We had a lot of exposure.
It was until the year 2020 when the sport was introduced in Kenya after a squad of 3 Kenyans, Martin Abundos, current technical director of the Kenya Kho Kho Federation, Brian Onyo, the head coach of the women national team, and Simon Bugwa, the current vice president of the Kho Kho Federation, honored an invite to attend a coaching course in India, and when they jetted back, they introduced the sport in Kenya.
Kho Kho was introduced in Kenya in 2020. So we went to India in 2020 for our international coaching course. So we were 3 of us. So I Coach Martin Abundes, the technical director of the federation, and Coach Simon, who's the Vice President of Kenya Kho Kho Federation. So we were invited to India, New Delhi for the coaching cross. So after the coaching cross in 2020, we came back to Kenya, and that's when we introduced the game from 2020. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I embarked on a mission to understand this sport, which looked like I once tried it in my childhood era. How it got its root in a country known for athletics. We linked up with Coach Brian Onyo during his daily duties of nurturing talents to give us an in-depth insight about this sport.
It's played with 9 players each per team for 3 to 4 innings. So an inning consists of 9 minutes. It's a total of 18 minutes. So these are the players. So the players are 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I will go down. We go down, 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 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 are squatting. The 9th player, the one standing, is the one starting the game. So for this player to stand from here, so this position is called, the place they are squatting is called a chaser block. So for this player to stand, you'll tap at the back and say Kho. Just tap, touch, say Kho, Kho, he'll stand. I'll take the position he was in, facing that side. We're going to continue. Give Kho, faster.
It is played on a rectangular court with a central lane connecting 2 poles, which are at either end of the court. During the game, 9 players from the chasing team, that is the attacking team, are on the field, with 8 of them sitting in the central lane, while 3 runners from the defending team run around the court to try to avoid being touched. Each sitting player on the chasing team faces the opposite half of the field that their adjacent teammates are facing. In the game, 1 player from the chasing team may run around the court, touch a member of the defending team. Each successful tag earns 1 point, and tag defender must leave the field.
So the squatting players are called chasers or the attackers. The 3 are called defenders. So they are defending for 9 minutes. Okay? So points awarded. The 3 are opponents now. That's a different team. So points are awarded like this. 1. If you get caught, that's 1 point. He's out. Okay? Out of play. If he stays inside the field for 3 minutes without being caught, that's a bonus point of 3 points. Okay? Around here we have a pole. So if the attacker does a pole dive, that's 2 points. 2 points. Okay?
However, the active chaser is restricted from crossing the central lane to assess the other half of the court and cannot change direction once they begin running towards either pole. These restrictions can be bypassed if the active chaser either switches role with the sitting teammates by touching them on the back while saying Kho, who is facing on the other half of the court, or by running behind either pole to switch direction or halves.
Step number 1. So for the player to stand, you touch and give Kho. Assume the position he was like that. So he was facing this side, I'll face this side. Come back here. This position is wrong. When the 2 players are facing the same position, it's not allowed. So it's wrong, but it's not a foul. So they'll just change. So the measurement of the field is 16 by 26, the measurements. So we have this place here, it's called the free zone. So the game is called a free zone. So at the free zone, it's the only place you're allowed to change direction. So rules number 1 of the game. The player here is not allowed to change direction. So the ones who are squatting are called chasers. Chasers or attackers. And then we'll have 3 players to come in. 3. So the 3 are called defenders or runners. Their main work is to run, not to be caught by the chasers. So the 3 defenders, they're allowed to cross this side. So when a defender crosses this side, only players facing this side can touch the player.
There are other different unofficial varieties of Kho Kho, which include shortest time wins, Kho Kho, standing Kho Kho, and Kho Kho.
The official one, we have 9 players. The official one, 15 plus 9. The other one, it's 12 playing and the 7 starting. So the 7 starting, we have 6 squatting, and then the 7th one also have different clubs for ladies. So a team consists of 15 players, 9 playing, and the rest remain their subs.
It is not an expensive game, though the main challenges faced by athletes of different sports disciplines here in Kenya is training facilities. This young federation found themselves training along the road, just few meters outside Moi Sports Center, Kasarani, indoor arena.
So like here, there are some techniques we can't execute here nicely, like diving, pole dive we can't do here. Players will get injuries. So if we do it indoor, where we have the mats, things will be great. The expensive thing is the mat. And then the ground, we usually liaise with the schools and we get grounds where we train. So the expense majority is there, mainly is there, the mats and the indoor arenas. Those are the main expensive things that I can say Kho Kho needs.
From India to Kenya, Kho Kho has been in the country for just 5 years. And Kho Kho stakeholders are hoping one day Kenyans will embrace it and make this sport among their favorites. My name is Duncan Mutua.
Sports news brought to you by Maybets. Join Maybets leo upate free bet papo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1 au draw X au away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako, chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybets. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutakuwa verified, utapoteza free bet yako after 2 days. Betting is strictly for 18 years and over. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. BCLB number 0000578.
Maybet na minia na najishindia. Pesa inavutia.
You're watching the Daily Report. You're taking another short commercial break. Please to stay with us. We've still got more on the other side.
Are you ready to elevate your business game?
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
Kama wewe ni mfanyabiashara, huwezi kaa bure, unajipanga taratibu vile inavyofaa.
Join us each week as we dive into the stories of the world's most driven entrepreneurs.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
The Grind, where business meets brilliance. Tune in every Monday at 7:30 p.m. because your business deserves the best.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2. What position were you? Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, We inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m.
Indeed, you're watching the Daily Report. It is 4 minutes to the hour, 10 o'clock. My name is George Maringa. On sign language interpretation is Rhoda Nyamai. Now, of course, tonight we had informed you and assured you and promised you that we would have the conversation with PS Abraham Korir Sing'oei, Dr. Korir Sing'oei, but due to very unavoidable circumstances, the guest will not be coming in tonight. But still, here is some more news that I will leave you with, where shocking new details have emerged of how Wells Fargo Human Resource Director Willis Ayeko was abducted, tortured and killed. His killers drained 1.2 million shillings from his bank and M-Pesa accounts before dumping his body in Nyamboga River at the border of Quisero and Gem constituencies. Our very own Lennox Sengre unravels the chilling murder of Ayeko and how his killers were paid to execute the gruesome murder. I will be leaving you with that special report by Lennox Sengre. I am George Maringa. Rhoda Nyamai has been on sign language interpretation. Good night from Nairobi. I'll see you next time.
Walikuwa nasikia tu mtu analia hapo. Hata mchana anateswa, mchana analia, mchana watu wanasikia na watu wameogopa hiyo bomu.
Kukimbia kuenda tukapata saa ingia kwa ile nyumba na kakataa atuingie hapo. Huyo ni mtu mlevi. Nikifikiria kinye niliona, sioni kama I am normal, sioni kama niko normal sana.
Called severally and sent him a message to please come home.
A chilling discovery of abduction, torture and murder of Wells Fargo HR Director Willis Ayeko, who was kidnapped and taken to the home of a suspect known as Utuchi, an alleged chicken thief. Bound for days, his captors transferred 1.2 million from his bank account, withdrew 64,000 from his M-Pesa and took 34,000 loan from his Fuliza account. TV47 has learned that all this took place as killers continued torturing Willis Ayeko inside a house in Kisero constituency.
When this thing started, it looked like a nightmare that we'll wake up from it. But as the days go by, the nights go by, it's almost like a confirmation that for real, he's not there.
TV47 Investigates went undercover for 3 months to bring you the inside-chilling murder of Willis Ayeko. This quiet homestead in Nyamninia village, Game constituency, Siaya County, holds the darkest secrets of the last moments of Willis Ayeko, a celebrated human resource director at Wells Fargo. It was here on the night of October 18th, 2024, after attending a night vigil for his friend's late mother, that Ayeko's fate was sealed. What began as a journey from Nairobi to Mon with a friend ended in a murder most foul that has left a trail of chilling details. Ayeko's decaying body will later be discovered dumped in a seasonal river a few kilometers from the night vigil. Friday, the 18th October, Ayeko left Nairobi to attend a night vigil for his friend's late mother in Nyamninia area in Siaya County. Slain Ayeko instructed a driver by the name Julius Mbuthia to drive his car registration number KCY 004P. A Ford Ranger double cabin model, which is orange in color, to Kisumu International Airport, where he would later pick the car upon landing. According to our investigation, being a civilian firearm holder, Ayeko flew from Nairobi to Kisumu via KQ armed with a Seska pistol CX75P07 of a serial number B413483 with 27 rounds of ammunition. According to the paperwork seen by TV47, he landed in Kisumu Airport at 2:45 p.m. before heading to Nyamninia, where he arrived at 3:56 p.m. on the same day, 18th October 2024. Upon arrival in Game, Ayeko was received by his longtime friend. According to our investigation, Ayeko joined 4 other friends within the homestead. At the funeral, the compound had 2 armed police officers who were providing security during the vigil. At around 9:50 p.m., Ayeko left the night vigil in Game for his rural home in Alego in Siaya County. He left alone in his Ford Ranger double cabin. Ayeko was to attend another event in Kakamega the following day, the Saturday 19th October 2024, that never materialized. According to the motor vehicle track record in our possession, Ayeko's car was ignited at 9:52 p.m. and at 9:54 p.m. the vehicle stopped. This is barely 2 minutes duration from the night vigil. This is the point believed that Ayeko was abducted by his captors. The investigation would later reveal the confession of a boda rider, Charles Otieno Odhiambo, alias Buddha, who admitted to being paid 10,000 to assist in the abduction and murder of Ayeko. According to the boda rider, he was contacted by Victor Otieno, alias Cisco. the main suspect in Ayeko's murder, who is currently in custody over the murder. The rider detailed that they met as killers at Matumbu Trading Center in a club by the name Amigos to plan on how to kill Ayeko. All this time, Ayeko was still alive, attending a night vigil. After the meeting had been firmed up on how to execute Ayeko's murder, the killer team left Mutumbu in 2 motorbikes to Nyamninia village, where they would pick Ayeko. Upon arrival at the scene of abduction, Robert Wakolo Koth, alias Champe, and Cisco, who are brothers, alighted from their respective motorbikes and moved into the darkness, holding a bag, and came back dressed in a military uniforms, armed with rifles. According to the rider, who confessed to have been involved in the execution of the murder, the first murder suspect by the name Champe was armed with an AK-47 rifle fitted with bayonet, while the other suspect by the name Cisco was armed with a shotgun. The confession further details how Champe and Cisco left the rider and proceeded to a night vigil where Ayeko was attending. A few minutes after Ayeko had ignited his Ranger car, Champe and the brother are said to have ambushed Ayeko. Champe is said to have come driving Ayeko's Ford Ranger to where 2 riders were and signaled the rider to follow the vehicle. According to the car records in our possession, the vehicle made several turns on the rough road before making his way to Busia-Kisumu Highway. Ayeko's abduction took another harrowing twist within the same night of Friday 18th October 2024, where the killers are said to have made their way to this homestead. This is the homestead of Duncan Ochieng Obongo alias Otuchi. He is the guy who allegedly tortured Ayeko to death. At this homestead, the first and the second suspects by the name Cisco and Champe allegedly pulled Ayeko from his vehicle and dragged him to this muddy house. At this time, Ayeko was handcuffed from behind with a sack placed over his head. This homestead is of interest because Otuchi abetted Ayeko's murder. He lives alone here, but he offered Ayeko's killers the house to his son who lives in Kisumu, the house where Ayeko will be detained, tortured before being murdered. The photos inside the house are gory. Clothes believed to have been used to wipe away Ayeko's blood are still evident here. Our investigations has revealed that Ayeko had a Samsung model mobile phone, the main suspect by the name Cisco, while inside this house changed from a military attire to blue jacket and instructed the rider to take him to Kisumu, leaving Champe and the other suspects in the house with Ayeko. In Kisumu, the killers made numerous M-Pesa withdrawals from various M-Pesa shops in Kisumu using Ayeko's mobile phone and ID. Ayeko had 2 Safaricom lines, 6 bank accounts with different banks, and from our analysis, it is only the I&M bank accounts that was active. These bank accounts are of interest on the night of 18th October 2024 to 21st October, when Ayeko was still being held in Otuchi's son's house. The killers transferred 1.1 million to an M-Pesa account for Willis Ayeko, then withdrew. TV47 has established that this M-Pesa account belongs to murdered Ayeko. The killers withdrew first bulk of money in Kisumu on the 19th October 2024 at 36 minutes past midnight. Our damning investigation reveals that before Ayeko's abduction, he he had a balance of 63,463 in his M-Pesa. All this amount was withdrawn by his killers. Further, when the killers had withdrawn all the amounts from his mobile phone, they further went to his M-Pesa account and borrowed 36,000 from his Fuliza account and withdrew. This means that a total of 1.2 million was withdrawn from Ayeko's mobile phone when he was still being held at Otuchi's son's house. TV47 cast its net deeper again into this village in Quisero, where it has emerged that on Saturday 19th October 2024, a day after Ayeko was abducted, another interesting but sad occurrence followed.
Hii nyumba ilikuwa Sorota House, huyu jamaa alifinyiwa hapa kwa hii nyumba. Sio huko hapa.
At around 4 p.m., almost 12 hours after Ayeko was abducted, neighbors say Ayeko was still alive, though he was crying in pain for help inside this house. A neighbor whose identity will remain anonymous detailed to TV47 how he, together with 3 other neighbors, heard Ayeko screaming inside this house, but upon rushing to help Ayeko, they were blocked by Otuchi, who alleged that was his drunk friend and that he will sort out the matter. The neighbors told TV47 that they retreated as Otuchi entered his son's house and shortly Ayeko stopped screaming.
Ilikuwa saa 10 jioni. Na kwa saa hiyo ndio tulisikia nduru na tulikuwa watatu. Sasa kuenda, jamaa alikuwa hapo karibu na geti yake. Yeye akatangulia kuingia kama bado tunakuja, juu tulikuwa mbali kidogo. Sasa kufika kwa geti hivi akatuambia, bwana, sasa hiyo huyo ni mtu mlevi, hiyo ni yake na yeye, sasa tuwachane tu naye. Kabidi tuwachane, hata tu kuingia kwa boma alikataa tusiingie. Otuchi, najua mara mingi ni mtu ameishi akaetika ile hali ya kulewa, tabia zingine mbovu kama hizi uizi za kuku, mandizi hizo ndio tunajuaga kwake, lakini ya tu kujua kama kitu kama hii anaweza husika naye.
Our investigation has established that Ayeko was not killed instantly. He spent some days being held and tortured inside this house. In what would end the life of a celebrated Wells Fargo Human Resource Director Willis Ayeko was puzzle at night, where Otuchi, Champe and his brother Cisco, after this chilling murder, removed Ayeko's body at night. Here again, they applied 2 avocado branches to carry already murdered Ayeko, but they were defeated, dropping the branches here before resolving to drag him down the slope of River Nyamboga, where they would dispose the body at the shore of Nyamboga stream.
Wakati wa saa 6 hapo saa 5 kwa nimeenda kuchunga, kapata simu hiyo Dhiambo, ndio kanipigia simu akaniambia kuna mtu ameuawa kwa mtaro hapa. Na nikamuuliza mtaro gani, akaniambia huko kwa karibu kwa Nyasarodha. Nyasarodha ni ile boma. Sasa nikamwambia okay, ngoja kidogo. Ndio nikapigia assistant chief. Akaniambia enda uangalie ni nani. Kweli nilikuja nikapata pale kwa Nyasarodha. Kufika hapo akanipigia, akaniuliza hujafika? Nikamwambia ndio mimi na karibia. Akaniambia karibia, usishike na usonge karibu, unipigie simu. Kufika hapa nikaangalia, nikampigia simu. Akaniambia wanakuja hata na afisa chief wa Dudi na njia gani ya kufika hapo na gari. Nikamuuliza hapo kwa ofisi yako turemuka tu mpaka kwa Hagai. Ukifika kwa Hagai utaona tu watu. Kweli saa kidogo wamefika. wote, yeye, assistant chief, wadudi, chief. Sasa kidogo mkaka pia amefika. Sasa kidogo watu tu wanajaa hapa wengi. Hata ndugu ya Yeko kidogo nasikia nalia akikuja. Baada ya muda mfupi tu, sijui walikuwa tu humo.
Sasa within no time hao maafisa wakapigia wenzao wa DCI. Kumbe hawakuwa mbali sana, walikuwa tu kwa kutafuta hiyo mtu. Sasa wakakuja na gari immediately. Sasa wakati huo baada ya kupiga ripoti pia tukapigia chifu yetu sasa. Hata tukasikizana tukutane hapa. So sisi na mapikipiki na hao wa DCI wakachukua polisi tukakuja hapa. Kweli kuangalia tukapata kuna mwili ya mwanaume ile umri wa makamu. Umelala ndani ya maji kifudifudi.
Wakamtoa hapo, wakamweka hapa, watu wakakuja, watu wa daktari nini, wakabeba yeye wakaenda. Sasa kuenda wakakaa karibu, baada ya kuenda nasikia ufununu kwa watu. Kuna mtu alikuwa anapigwa kwa fulani hapa. Alikuwa analia, "Unisaidie," na kuna mtu anaenda kusaidia. Kidogo mwingine ananiambia hivi. Nikasema sasa hii maneno mimi naambiwa mimi ni serikali. Nikinyamaza nayo ni mbaya. Ngozi ilikuwa imetoka kwa hizo mkono na mkono ulikuwa umefungwa hivi. Amelala kichwa imeelekea pande hii. Amelala cross maji. Maji inapita tu na yeye yako tu hapo. Hii kitanda ilianza kutendeka Ijumaa, Jumamosi, Jumapili. Lakini Jumamosi mchana huyu mjamaa alikuwa hajakufa. Alikuwa bado ako hai. Lakini bado anateswa. Sasa labda Jumapili ndiye aliuawa na Jumatatu yeye akabebwa akaletwa hapa kwa sababu ya mateso mingi huko. Na ukuja hapa ndio mwili ilikuwa imeharibika. Mchana kuna wale walikuwa karibu. Walikuwa nasikia kelele. Huyu jamaa akilia. Wakati hao walikuwa vijana wawili. Wakati walikimbia ukienda hapo mwenye kutenda hiyo kitendo anasema huyu ni mtu mlevi amelewa. Mimi ndio najua kudili na yeye. Muachane na mimi. Na wakarudi. Kweli sasa wanajua hapo kuna kuwa na ulevi na vitendo kama hivyo wanatendeka. Kweli wakaenda.
6 days later, after Yeko disappeared on the 23rd October 2024, then 18-year-old Form 3 student at a local school stumbled on a known body floating in Nyamboga stream on the border of Game and Quisero constituencies before informing the area chief.
Peleka nikafika kwa a river, a stream. Naita Lidende. Fika hapo nika cross, nikaona some of flies kama ziko hapo. Nikarudi nyuma nikaangalia nini iko hapo kwa maji. Kuangalia naona mkono ya mtu. Then nikarudi nyuma. Nikaita wenye walikuwa karibu hapo. Nikawaita nikawaambia hebu kujeni muone kinyo iko hapa ndani. Kukuja wa confirm wakasema ni mtu. Then wakaniambia usitoke hapo. Kaa tu hapo, lazima tengeneze. Nikasema ni sawa. After that nikachukua simu, hiyo simu nilikuwa nayo, nikapigia my mother. Nikamwambia nifika hapa kwa mtoni na kuna mwili vile nimeona hapa. Sasa mnaweza pigia polisi ama chief yoyote wakuje. Wakakuja confirm, wakareveal kumbe ni kweli. Nikakaa tu hapo hadi familia ikakuja, na polisi wakakuja wakamtoa. Then kumtoa nikasonga karibu ili nione. Alikuwa hana viatu.
alikuwa amevaa vest white na long yake ilikuwa imefungwa yani imefungwa kwa mguu yake, then mkono yake nayo ilikuwa imefungwa at his back.
The boy who stumbled on Ayeko's body have exclusively narrated the harrowing ordeal to TV47.
Kaona kama macho yake haikuwa, domo, sikio lake. So nikaanza tu kulia. Then kakuwa transported, kabebwa hapo kapelekwa mchani. Kuni affect na imeni affect because nikifikiria kinye niliona sioni kama I am normal, sioni kama niko normal sana.
Even after the chilling killing, Ayeko's killers never let his body free. They used his long trouser to tie his legs and again handcuffed him from the back using a handcuff serial number 2018 KP9486. In an exclusive interview with TV47, Ayeko's widow detailed the harrowing experience in searching for her husband.
Maybe to speak of my husband, it's very difficult. We called severally and sent him a message to please come home. So it's been hard. It's been truly hard. When this thing started, it looked like a nightmare that we'll wake up from it. But as the days go by, the nights go by, it's almost like a confirmation that for real, he's not there.
The widow says Ayeko's life was never threatened before, and her family still wonders who wanted Ayeko dead.
He loved people, and if there was something, and I've racked my brains, I've tried thinking about everything. There's nothing to warrant this. There's nothing. And if there was, I would have known. He was happy. He had his friends. I never heard that somebody really felt a certain way. No. And so my prayer is that at the end of this, or at the end of all of this, we will get to know who, how, and why.
The suspect by the name Otuchi, who provided the scene of crime where Ayeko would be killed, was paid 5,000 shillings by Cisco for killing and disposing Ayeko's body in Nyamboga River through his sister's mobile phone. Ayeko's killers made a final attempt to cover their tracks. A day after Ayeko was abducted, TV47 has established that two men were seen on CCTV at 6:05 p.m. driving his vehicle Ford Ranger double cabin pickup before abandoning it at Norman Petrol Station, located along Sabatia Ekero Road in Kakamega County. The damning call data report obtained by TV47 delivers a chilling revelation. Ayeko's killers went extreme lengths to cover their tracks. Not only did they avoid using their real identities, but they also exploited proxies' identification cards to register phone lines, ensuring their anonymity during the brutal murder. The prime suspect, Victor Ouma alias Cisco, was operating using the mobile number shown. Shockingly, the investigation have confirmed that this line was not registered under his name. Instead, he used his late sister ID number 3274905 to orchestrate communication during Ayeko's gruesome killing, a calculated move to erase his digital footprint. The boda rider by the name Charles Otieno Odhiambo alias Buddha, who has since confessed on how he transported the killers, was using a mobile phone number 0787360684 during the gruesome murder of Ayeko. The detectives have uncovered damning evidence leaving the four key suspects, Champe, Cisco, Godi, and Buddha, who remained in communication before, during, and after chilling murder of Willis Ayeko. Champe's mobile phone was mysteriously switched on and off in the hours leading up to the killing, and the moment Ayeko's body was discovered, he abruptly turned off his phone again. As Ayeko's Samsung phone was being used in Kisumu, investigators traced a continuous exchange of calls between Cisco and Champe, placing them right in the heart of the unfolding crime. Even more incriminating, the phone numbers belonging to Cisco and Champe were detected at the very location where Ayeko's car was abandoned after his abduction. But the most damning revelation, Cisco's mobile signal was also traced to the crime scene in Kisumu, where large withdrawals were being made using Ayeko's phone, confirming their direct involvement in the aftermath of the murder. Yet the true horror lies not just in the crime, but in the identities of those behind it. What raises eyebrows are the people who killed Ayeko. TV47 has been closely following the 5 individuals accused of executing this cold-blooded murder. Who really orchestrated this killing, and what sinister forces were at play? One of the prime suspects is Robert Wakolo Okoth, alias George Oduor, alias Michael Okoth, alias Champe. Champe is a person of interest in Ayeko's murder. Champe and his brother Cisco allegedly abducted and killed Ayeko. Champe told his girlfriend Esther Atieno that he is a military officer on assignment in Haiti. He used 4 different names, all in IDs, bearing his profile photos. Champe was always wearing military attires and had handcuffs. During our investigation, we traced the suspect to Nyamninia Secondary School, where the administration told us he scored a grade B+ in KCSE. He hired a Toyota Axio Grey in color, registration number KDN 948B, which he used after killing Ayeko. Champe fired at the detectives before escaping, leaving his girlfriend by the name Cyprus Woga to die during a fire exchange with the detectives. Champe would later be gunned down by the detectives at the Mulberry guest house. Question arose: why was he killed by the police who sent him to kill Ayeko? Another interesting figure in Ayeko's gruesome murder is Victor Ouma Okoth alias Cisco alias Govins. He was arrested in Dandora, Nairobi, after a mobile phone he was using was placed at the scene of crime. He abducted Ayeko together with his brother Champe. Cisco was captured on CCTV footage withdrawing money from M-Pesa agent using Ayeko's phone. This is the guy who contacted the rider by the name Buddha to help him abduct Ayeko. Cisco was seen dragging Ayeko from his vehicle to Otuchi's son's house, where Ayeko would be killed. Cisco would later take a photo of Ayeko when dead, plus the photo of Ayeko's phone. Question arose: who was he sending the photo of Ayeko's phone to? And who sent him to kill Ayeko? Another interesting figure in Ayeko's murder is Duncan Ochingo Bongo, alias Otuchi. He is the man who is said to have provided a scene of crime where Ayeko was killed. Immediately after Ayeko was abducted, he was taken to Otuchi's son's house, where he would later be murdered. In October 2024, barely a day after Ayeko was abducted, Ayeko was heard screaming from Otuchi's son's house. He told neighbors that Ayeko was his drunk friend. Otuchi entered the house where Ayeko was being held in captive, and Ayeko stopped screaming. Otuchi fled immediately when his sister told him that a dead body was discovered next to his home. Before Otuchi escaped, the killers sent him 5,000 Kenya shillings, suspected to be his payment for his role in killing Ayeko. Otuchi and the other killers disposed Ayeko's body at Nyamboga stream at night. Another key suspect is Charles Odhiambo alias Buddha. Buddha is the border rider who transported the killers to the abduction scene where Ayeko was kidnapped. He transported Cisco, the alleged killer, to and fro various M-Pesa dealers where 1.2 million shillings was withdrawn. He has confessed taking part in Ayeko's murder. Odhiambo is a former convict having served a jail term with Cisco at the Siaya prisons. Another key suspect in Ayeko's murder is Tom Toto, not his real name. Toto, on 20th October 2024, is said to have received 200 Kenya shillings from Ayeko's phone. TV47 has learned that Tom received the money while in Athi River, Machakos. The money was used to pay Tom's Fuliza loan. He was later released as detectives established that this was a diversionary tactic by the killers. But who wanted Ayeko dead and why? This is one of the tough questions investigators are struggling to piece together. As HR director in his workplace, Ayeko was said to be part of a team investigating a high-profile heist involving 94 million stolen from the security firm. The money belonging to Quickmart supermarket was supposed to be transported to a local bank. When contacted, the Wells Fargo chose not to answer the questions raised on Ayeko's role in the investigation or allegation he might have offended some people he fired. Another question that the detectives are also investigating is that the murder resulted from the random robbery. The post-mortem that was carried out by the government chief pathologist Johansen Odur at the Lee Funeral Home revealed that Ayeko cause of death was as a result of head injury due to a blunt force trauma. Wells Fargo told us that it decided to adopt a no-comment policy concerning the matter when we reached out. For now, Ayeko's family continues to grieve. They are left with one haunting question of why. Lennox Sengre for TV47 Crime Untold.